I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Mike, and I want to get this off my chest because I honestly don't know what to do anymore. My wife, Lisa, and I have been together for about 8 years. We have a beautiful baby girl, Emma, who was born just a few months ago. The last few months have been a total nightmare, and I'm still trying to process everything. It all started when Emma had her emergency C-section. It was terrifying. She was in labor for longer than expected, and the doctors said it was urgent. I was in the hospital with her, right there by her side, holding her hand as she was knocked out. I thought that would be a moment I'd never forget, the kind of thing that really cements your love and commitment. But while I was there, something else was happening behind my back. Lisa was acting weird. She'd been texting like crazy. Her phone kept buzzing at odd hours. I didn't think much of it at first. I just figured she was talking to her friends or updating family about the baby. The night I was in the hospital, Lisa stayed home alone, and I thought that was normal. But then I started noticing little things. She'd hide her phone when I entered the room, quickly slipping it into her purse or turning the screen away from me. Her responses to my texts would become shorter, more distracted. She was acting distracted even when she was with me. I caught her in a lie once when I asked if she'd spoken to her sister that day, and she said she hadn't. But then I found a message thread on her phone, hidden in a folder she forgot to delete, that was filled with these long, flirtatious messages from someone named Jake. And Jake was her coworker, a guy I'd never really paid much attention to because I trusted Lisa. The messages were more than just friendly. There was talk about meeting up, about secret sex, about how much she missed the thrill. I saw texts where she called him babe, and he responded like he was her boyfriend, not her coworker. That was the moment I felt my stomach drop straight out of my body. I felt cold, then hot, then numb. I couldn't believe it. My wife, the woman I loved and trusted with my everything, was cheating on me right under my nose, and I was none the wiser. I didn't confront her right then. I needed to think, but I knew this wasn't just a fling. It was something serious. I started digging deeper. I went through her phone when she was in the shower just out of curiosity, and I saw all the messages. They went back months. She'd been texting Jake all night, every night, while I was in the hospital fighting to keep my wife and our newborn safe. She'd been lying to my face, pretending everything was fine, pretending she was just tired or busy. When I finally gathered the courage to ask her about it, the truth spilled out fast. She sneered and said I was overreacting, that it was nothing, that Jake was just a friend she'd been talking to for months, but that there was nothing serious. She called me paranoid. She said I was just jealous, that I didn't trust her, that I didn't understand her. Honestly, her words just made me angrier. How could she be so callous? How could she betray me and then turn around and call me crazy? That night I felt like I was losing my mind. All the anger, the heartbreak, the betrayal, it was all crashing down at once. I wanted to scream, to cry, to shake her and demand answers, but I kept it inside. I knew I had to think about what I wanted to do next. I felt betrayed by her, by Jake, by the whole world. I thought I knew my life, but apparently I was living with a stranger. And the worst part, she didn't seem to care. After that night, everything changed. I couldn't look at Lisa the same way. Every word she said felt like a lie. Every smile she gave me was coated in deception. I was furious, hurt, and incredibly confused. How could she do this to me, to Emma? I thought we had something real, something worth fighting for. Turns out I was just blind to what was happening right in front of my face. The days that followed were a blur. I kept replaying everything I found out, trying to understand how I missed all the signs. Lisa acted like nothing had changed. She'd put on her fake, normal face, but I saw through it. She'd get defensive when I asked questions, accuse me of being controlling or paranoid. She called me crazy more times than I could count, saying I was imagining things, that Jake was just a friend who needed her. She even had the nerve to say I was overreacting because I was stressed from the hospital and that I should just trust her. But I couldn't trust her anymore. Not after what I'd seen. I started noticing other things, small, subtle signs that confirmed my suspicions. She'd stay out late working, but I'd find her car parked in dark parking lots, her phone still buzzing at odd hours. She'd get calls from Jake, and she'd rush to answer them in another room or hide her screen when I entered. I caught her lying about where she was going, about who she was texting, and I could see the guilt in her eyes every time she caught me staring at her. I knew I had to do something. I couldn't just sit back and let her keep lying to my face. I decided the best way to handle this was to catch her red-handed, too. See if I could get her to slip up again. I installed a tracking app on her phone, just enough to see where she was going without her knowing I was watching. That was a fucked up thing to do, I know, but I needed to know the truth. I wanted to see if she was really with Jake or just lying her ass off. One night, I saw her leave the house after I'd gone to bed. She said she was staying late at work, but I knew better. She went to some hotel downtown. I could see the location tracked to a cheap motel. My blood ran cold. I got in my car, didn't even bother knocking, and waited in the parking lot. When she came out, her face was flushed, her eyes darted around like she was scared, and she tried to pretend she was just leaving a friend's house. But I saw her slip her phone into her purse faster than I could blink. I followed her home, my mind spinning. When she finally unlocked the door and stepped inside, I shoved her against the wall and demanded answers. Her reaction was instant. She sneered and rolled her eyes, already annoyed that I was bothering her. She told me I was crazy, that I was stalking her, that I was paranoid. She said she was just talking to Jake for fun, that I had no right to be jealous. She even accused me of overreacting because I was still stressed from the hospital. The thing is, I wasn't just mad anymore. I was hurt beyond belief. All those times I stayed by her side, thinking she was exhausted from the birth, from life. Turns out, she was lying to my face. She'd been sneaking around, having sex with Jake, lying to me about her whereabouts and acting like I was the crazy one. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach again and again. My trust was shattered and I hated her for it. I hated myself for not seeing it sooner. That night I sat on the couch, staring at the wall and tried to process everything. I felt betrayed, angry, and so fucking tired. I wondered how I could have been so stupid, so naive. For months, I was in the hospital worried about my wife and our newborn, and meanwhile, she was out screwing someone else, lying to my face every chance she got. I couldn't believe I had been so blind. That's when I realized the worst part. She never truly loved me. All this time she was just pretending, just waiting for her chance to cheat without any consequences. And Jake, I knew he was just some guy she probably saw as her escape, her fun, while I was fighting for my family. I don't think I've ever felt so alone in my life. That's where I am now, trying to figure out what the hell to do next. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I forgive her and pretend none of this ever happened? Honestly, I don't have the answers yet, but I do know one thing: I'll never trust her again. Not after this. She's shown her true colors and I can't turn a blind eye anymore. After that confrontation, everything went downhill fast. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, and every time I looked at Lisa, I saw the betrayal etched all over her face. She kept denying, calling me crazy, claiming I was just jealous or stressed from the hospital. Honestly, I wanted to believe her because the alternative was too much to handle, but deep down I knew the truth. She had been cheating on me with Jake for months, and she had lied to my face every single day. I decided I couldn't stay in the same house anymore. I packed a bag not just to get away from her, but to clear my head. I went to stay with my brother, thinking I'd figure out what to do next. The first few days I was gone, Lisa called me nonstop, crying and begging me to come back, saying she made a mistake, that she loved me, that she'd change. But I knew better. She said anything to keep me from leaving for good, but actions speak louder than words. During those days apart, I started thinking about what I really wanted. I knew I couldn't keep pretending I was okay with her cheating. I also didn't want to just walk away without making her feel the consequences of what she did. The more I thought about it, the clearer it became. I needed to get revenge. Not some petty thing. I wanted her to feel the pain she caused me in a way that actually mattered. So I started planning. I knew she was always secretive about her phone, so I decided to go through it again, this time more carefully. I found some hidden folders, more messages from Jake, some explicit photos they'd sent each other, and even some of her plans to meet up again. I wasn't just angry, I was furious. But I also knew I had to be smart about this. I didn't want her to catch on that I was onto her. I wanted her to realize she'd been caught without her knowing I'd planned it this way. I started thinking about how I could turn her own game against her. I knew Lisa loved to manipulate and lie her way out of things, so I needed to come up with something that would make her feel the same kind of betrayal she'd handed me. She was so confident, so bitchy when she lied, but I knew she had her vulnerabilities. She needed to see what it felt like to be humiliated, to be betrayed, the way I was. One night I sent Jake a message pretending to be someone else, someone who knew everything. I told him I had found out about the affair, that I was going to confront Lisa, and I wanted to make sure he knew what kind of person he was messing with. I also told him that I had all the proof, that I had the explicit photos, the texts, everything. It was a gamble, but I wanted him to feel scared. And he did. I could tell from the quick reply that he had no idea I was actually the husband. Meanwhile, I set up everything at home. I ordered some hidden cameras, installed them in the house, and arranged for a few more things to make Lisa's life miserable if she decided to keep lying. I wanted her to catch her in her own game, to see herself for what she truly was, someone who lied, cheated, and manipulated. I wasn't just doing this to hurt her. I wanted her to feel the same pain she'd given me, and I wanted her to understand that she couldn't keep hiding behind her lies forever. It all came to a head one Thursday evening. I was back at home, waiting in the living room with my phone and the cameras rolling. Lisa came in from work, looking tired and bitchy as always. She headed straight to the bedroom, trying to act like everything was fine. I followed her, pretending to be just a concerned husband. That's when I played the recording I'd made of her and Jake's most explicit conversation, her calling him babe, talking about how much she missed him, how she loved the thrill of sneaking around. Her face twisted in shock when she heard her own words. She tried to deny it, called me a liar, said I was jealous again, but I had the proof. It was all there in her own voice, in her own text messages. The look in her eyes was priceless. She was caught, finally. It was like watching a whole different person unravel in front of me. That moment was the culmination of everything I'd been through. I felt a strange mix of rage and relief. Rage that she hurt me so much, and relief that I finally had evidence that she'd been lying all along. I knew then that I couldn't stay with her, not after this. She'd broken whatever trust we had left, and I wasn't going to be the fool anymore. I wanted her to see how it felt to be betrayed, just a little bit, so she could finally understand what she'd done. That night, after I played her her own words and showed her the messages, Lisa's face went from defiant to completely collapsed. She sat there in silence, her eyes darting around the room like a cornered animal. I could see the cracks in her perfect bitchy facade. She tried to deny everything, of course. Said it was just sex, that Jake was just a distraction, that she didn't mean for it to happen, and that I was just overreacting. But I didn't buy a word of it. Honestly, I was done listening to her lies. I looked at her and saw a different person, someone I didn't recognize anymore. All the time she called me paranoid or jealous, all the time she told me I was crazy for suspecting her, it hit me hard. She'd been cheating on me for months behind my back while I was in the hospital fighting for my newborn's life. And she had the nerve to stand there and call me crazy. That was the last straw. I told her I wanted her out of the house immediately. She screamed, called me crazy, called me possessive, said she was done with this bullshit. She tried to guilt-trip me, saying I was ruining her life, destroying her family. But I felt nothing but cold anger. I'd already made up my mind. I was done with the lies, done with her bullshit. I told her I was going to file for divorce and that I wanted her to leave and never come back. She stormed out of the room, hysterical, crying, yelling about how I was ruining everything. But honestly, I didn't care anymore. I just wanted her gone. I wanted her to understand what it felt like to be betrayed, to be humiliated. I wanted her to see that her actions had consequences, and that I wasn't going to be some stupid idiot who let her cheat and lie and get away with it. In the following days, I contacted a lawyer, started the divorce papers, and made sure all the evidence was stored safely. I also reached out to Jake, who was now visibly panicked. I told him I knew everything about the texts, the sex, the plans, and that I wasn't going to let him get away with it. I wanted him to feel the same betrayal I did. I told him I was going to make sure Lisa paid for what she did, and he better watch his back. Meanwhile, Lisa kept trying to come back, begging, crying, saying she'd change, that she loved me and Emma more than anything. But I saw through her. She thought she could manipulate her way out of this like she always did. But I wasn't buying it anymore. I knew her kind, the bitchy, manipulative type who lies and cheats and then acts innocent when caught. I wasn't going to let her do that to me or Emma again. The thing is, I still feel hurt and betrayed every day. It's like a dark cloud hanging over me. I trusted her with everything, my life, my family, and she threw it all away for some stupid affair with Jake. I keep asking myself how I missed the signs, how I didn't see the hints earlier. But honestly, I was blinded by love. I thought we had a good life, a real partnership. Turns out, she was just pretending to be the wife I thought I knew. Now I'm trying to pick up the pieces. I've told her she's not welcome here anymore. I've cut ties with Jake. I've moved out of the house and into a new place where I can breathe. Every day it gets a little easier, but the pain still lingers. I keep reminding myself that I deserve better. Emma deserves better. And I won't let her lie or cheat or manipulate her way out of what she did. The hardest part is knowing I have to co-parent with her now. I can't erase what she's done, but I need to stay strong for Emma's sake. I just wish I'd seen the signs sooner or that she was a little bit more honest. But I guess you learn the hard way. Trust is fragile, and once it's broken, it's almost impossible to repair. So here I am, trying to rebuild my life, knowing I'll never forget what she did, but also realizing that I'm stronger than I thought. It's been a few weeks since I kicked her out, and honestly, the whole thing still feels surreal. Some days I wake up expecting her to be there, to tell me it was all a mistake, that she loves me too much to throw everything away. But that's not happening. She's gone, and I'm left here trying to pick up the pieces of a marriage that's been shattered beyond repair. Every day, I look at Emma and feel this terrible guilt. I kept asking myself if I should have seen the signs earlier, if I should have done something different. But the truth is, no matter how much I wish I could go back and change things, I can't. The betrayal cut too deep. I used to think I was a good husband, a good father, and now I wonder if I was ever enough for her. I wonder what I did wrong, or if she was just always like this and I was too blind to see it. In the aftermath, I've been doing a lot of soul searching. I've talked to a counselor, not really for Lisa's sake, but for mine. I need to understand how I let myself get so blindsided and how I can learn to trust again, if I ever can. I've also been leaning on my family and friends. Some of them are furious at Lisa, calling her a bitch, telling me I deserve better. Others tell me I should fight to save the marriage. Honestly, I don't know what I want anymore. Part of me wants to forgive her, to believe she's genuinely sorry and that we could start over, but the other part, the one that's still raw and angry and broken, that part says forget her. Move on. Protect yourself and Emma. I've also been reviewing all the evidence I collected, screenshots, recordings, everything. It's hard to look at it all, but I need to stay strong. I want her to know I have the proof she can't deny anymore. I want her to realize that her lies caught up with her, that she can't manipulate her way out of what she did. I want her to feel what I felt when I found out, humiliated, betrayed, used. Honestly, I want her to see herself through my eyes for once. I've started dating again, not seriously, but just to remind myself that life doesn't end just because someone betrayed you. It's a slow process, and some days are better than others. I still get angry, still get sad, but I also feel a sense of relief. I'm finally free from the chaos she brought into my life. Emma is thriving despite everything. I see her smile more now, and I know I did the right thing by ending it. I can't imagine living the rest of my life with someone who would lie, cheat, and manipulate me like that. The most important lesson I've learned is that trust is everything, and once it's broken, it's nearly impossible to get back. But I also learned that I'm stronger than I thought. I survived the betrayal, and I will keep surviving. For Emma, for myself. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. I'm not going to let her destroy me or my family anymore. I'll do whatever it takes to rebuild and move forward, even if it means doing it all alone. Because at the end of the day, I deserve honesty, loyalty, and respect, and I won't settle for less anymore. Now, looking back, I realize how blind I was not to see the signs earlier. I was so caught up in being the good husband, the strong father, that I missed what was happening right under my nose. It's like I had a blindfold on, thinking everything was perfect when behind the scenes, she was busy crafting her lies and her betrayal. I trusted her with everything, and she turned out to be someone I barely recognize anymore. What hurts the most isn't just that she cheated, that's bad enough, but that she lied so effortlessly, so convincingly. The woman I thought I knew was just a facade for someone who was selfish, manipulative, and willing to throw away everything we built for her own pleasure. That realization hit me hard. I used to think I was lucky to have her, but now I see it was a fool's luck. She was never truly mine, not in the way I believed. Through all of this, I've learned a few things. First, trust is fragile. It takes years to build, but only moments to shatter. Once broken, it's near impossible to fix, and sometimes you just have to accept that some things are beyond repair. Second, I learned that I am stronger than I thought. I survived this betrayal and I will keep surviving. I may be hurt and angry now, but I also have hope. Hope that I can find happiness again, that I can rebuild my life without her. Most importantly, I've come to realize I deserve better. I deserve someone who loves me wholly and honestly. Someone who doesn't cheat, doesn't lie, doesn't manipulate. I want to be a good father to Emma and show her what real love looks like: honest, loyal, caring. I don't need a woman who manipulates and betrays to feel alive. So I'm moving forward. I've filed for divorce, I've set boundaries. I've told my family and friends what happened, and they've been nothing but supportive. I've started therapy to heal my wounds and to understand how to trust again if I ever can. I've also promised myself that I won't let this destroy my sense of worth. I know I'm not perfect, but I am deserving of someone who values me. This experience has changed me, no doubt. It's left scars, but also a new resolve. I won't let betrayal define me, and I won't let her take away my happiness. Emma is my life now, and I will do everything in my power to give her a better future, one built on honesty and love, not lies and betrayal. In the end, I've learned that sometimes you have to lose everything to realize what truly matters. Her lies might have broken us apart, but they also set me free. Free to find someone who truly deserves me and to become the kind of man I want Emma to look up to. I may be hurt, but I am not defeated. I am still standing and I will keep going, because that's what real strength looks like.